Hi. In today's session, we will be seeing about the knowledge representation in artificial intelligence. So, before entering into knowledge representation, we need to know about the AI knowledge cycle. So, the AI knowledge cycle, that is the artificial intelligence system, has the following components: the perception, learning, knowledge representation, and reasoning, planning, and execution. So in this, we will be seeing about the perception. So what is meant by perception? So perception is nothing but it is like what we actually retrieve, what information we retrieve from the environment. Okay. So perception component is the information retrieval or what information we get from the environment. That can be a visual, audio, or in any other form of sensory input. Once we get the information from the environment, the next is the learning phase. So learning is we have got the information. Now what we are learning from the information which we have got from the environment. So for example, we can tell that if you take a patient's data, so you have so many information for the patient, right? So the disease patterns, what are the factors affecting them and symptoms, etc., etc. So these, when you learn, initially when you learn, you should know how to handle the concerned data, right? Maybe if it is the symptom of the patient, what are the symptoms and which is more relevant to his disease. So these are all the things which we learn actually from the information which we have retrieved. The next is the main component called as the knowledge representation. Knowledge representation is from the information you have received from the environment as well as what you have learned, both put in together, you need to represent it by means of some knowledge. So in other words, if we take the health related data, you need to create some feature vectors from the patient data. So how far you are representing the data which you have collected by means of your knowledge. That is what knowledge representation, and how you are going to reason it actually. So mainly knowledge representation and reasoning will be showing the intelligence uh, of the machine like humans. Look, like the humans, the machine has to think. So these two components are independent, but they are coupled because once we know how it is being represented, we need to know how it is being reasoned also, right? Then we go into the planning and the execution phase. So knowledge representation, once it is done, we need to plan now how we are going to take that into the next level, or how we are going to train the module, or how we are going to evaluate the module, etc., etc., and how we are going to execute it also. So these are the 5 components of the knowledge cycle. Now coming to the next part. So the second most important concept in AI is the very important point is knowledge representation and reasoning. So here we need to ask some questions to us like, how do we describe what we know about the world? Like any data, any data if you take, or any real-time scenario if you take, we need to know how we describe about the world. And once how you have got some information about it and gathered with the information, how we are going to give it as a brief idea, how we are going to a clear cut idea of about the particular information. And once you have got all the information, what knowledge have you obtained from it? How we need to know about the knowledge, what knowledge is hidden in it, and how we need to think about that particular data into, you're converting it into the knowledge. Now, how we generate the new pieces of knowledge, and then how to deal with uncertain knowledge. Uncertain knowledge in the sense, maybe your model is trained and it is into the product now. Now, in some cases, there might be you need some continuous learning in that. That is, you need to monitor about that. There will be special cases who come with the same disease. So then your model has to be updated. So these are all the things which we do not know. Some uncertain knowledge will be there, where only when the model is in execution, you will come to know or you will come with continuous learning or made upon the feedback, everything you will know how to move upon. So that is what is your knowledge representation and reasoning. And now, the next is that knowledge representation can be represented as KR, or else you can also represent as a KRR, that is knowledge, representation, and reasoning, in which the agent will be thinking and they will also think about how to make it an intelligent behavior. Okay, and also it is responsible for representing about the real world. That is, you will be creating a solution for the real world scenario. In case the same model should be able to cope up with the complex real world also, because not every time there will be the same scenario. The scenario changes or the environment changes. So the knowledge has to be updated for the complex level also, and also how to represent the knowledge. And another main important concept is it is not just storing the data into a database and using it whenever you want. It is not like that. It is not only just storing the data in the database, but also you need to learn from the knowledge and the experiences. So that only, see, humans always learn from experiences. They will be teaching us with some basic level of basic level of updation only, but we need to know about the experience. We learn, we teach, for a small kid or a small baby, we teach them like how to walk and how to stand or whatever it is. But once the baby tries to learn by itself, it falls down, right? When it falls down also, based on the experience, it should know that it should able to try to get up from its place, so that it is learning by experience. Or when it is moving, it knows that there are some chairs around, so we have to turn around to the some other way. So these all are from experiences. The same way only, the intelligent machine also, not just storing the data and update and keeping on using the same data whenever it is needed. Else it has to add on with some knowledge as well as the experiences, how it behave like intelligently like a human. And the next is what all you need to represent in the object, in the AI systems. The first is the object. Object is the facts about the objects, right? That is, if you take a guitar, you should know about the strings, trumpets. These all are some of the brass instruments. Same thing, if you take any object, you should know it is not just an object. You should learn about the object. So if you're going to identify that this is a cat or this is a dog, you need to know what are the main features of the cat and the dog differentiation. Or if it is like the cat has big ears, and then the dog, actually the face of the dog looks different from the cat, and its long tail. So these all will be the differentiation of the cat and the dog. So there are some objects which is need to be identified. If you take a chair, it has 4 legs. If you take a bed, it will be lengthy. So these are some objects which have some features or some facts about the particular objects. So when you take events, what is the next topic is event. Events are actions. Okay. What are the actions means? What are you going to do? That is what events. And performance is how you behavior. That is, it describes about the behavior of how to do things. And meta knowledge, it's a knowledge about what we know. That is a clear cut of the knowledge. So this is what we know. And there can be a very broad knowledge other than that also. But meta knowledge is the knowledge about what we know about the particular object. Then fact, actually, I told you earlier, it is a truth. Okay. So now, after getting all these knowledge representation, how will you plan? So when you need to have a plan, you need to have a goal, right? Without having a goal, you cannot achieve it, right? Only when you know where the goal is, what is the goal is, you will be framing some actions to achieve the goal, a step-by-step process or a step-by-step actions to achieve the goal. Now, learning means when you are trying to achieve the goal by means of actions, you need to know what are the facts, what are the earlier facts, what are the new facts, or when you try to develop a model, what challenges are you facing from the environments, etc. So these are the learning concepts. So types of knowledge representation in AI. There are declarative knowledge, procedural knowledge, meta knowledge, heuristic knowledge, structural knowledge. Okay. There are 5 kinds of knowledge here. So we will see it one by one. What is meant by declarative knowledge? Declarative knowledge, from the name itself, it is understood that to know something, right? It is just a fact, includes the concepts, facts, and objects. Okay. So this is just a just straight statement or a just straight fact. It's called as, it is, for example, I can tell you, it is sunny today, or it is raining. So these all are like a declarative fact which is happening. So that is declarative knowledge. And procedural knowledge means it is called as imperative knowledge. So from the name procedural knowledge, imperative knowledge means, see here, it has some rules. That is procedural rules is here. So you will be having some rules to achieve something. If you want to do something, you need to know some rules. For example, how to drive a car. So if you need to drive a car, not every person can go and drive a car. He need to know like how to start a car, when to apply the brake, when to apply the clutch, or when to put the gear, whatever it is. So these are all the things. Only if he knows the procedures, he can drive a car or a bicycle or whatever it is. Next is the meta knowledge. Meta knowledge is something about the not very deep about the particular domain, or some few knowledge about the domain. Maybe if you take medical diagnosis, you have so many. If you go initially, they take certain. If you go for fever, they take the temperature, they take the pressure, weight, height, etc., etc. Mostly weight they take, not height, but weight, when they take, the weight is not does not relate to fever, but the temperature is the main thing which need to check for the fever category. So in medical diagnosis, normally when we go for any diagnosis, they take the blood pressure also. So blood pressure is very important knowledge, because based on the blood pressure, the doctors diagnose some. So, but the other colors like eye color or hair color, that is not much important, right? That is not at all needed. That is what meta knowledge is. Heuristic knowledge means some kind of rules you're applying. Rules, that is the thumb rules. We tell it as thumb rules based on the previous experiences. So in this case, we can take about the chess player. So that the good chess players will know how to control the entire board and how to take the next move. So that is like a thumb rule, right? They know when to move and based upon the opposite person's moving. That is what your heuristic knowledge. So it should learn like from the based on the previous experiences, it should know like what to do next. Then the structural knowledge, it's mainly the basic knowledge for a problem solving, right? Structural knowledge, mainly it is used for solving the problems. So these are the 5 knowledge representations in AI. The next, what is the knowledge and what is intelligence? So knowledge always plays an important role, right? Knowledge, based upon the knowledge only, you can tell that it is an intelligent behavior. Without having any knowledge, no one can be intelligent in that particular area. If you're intelligent, if a person or a machine or whatever it is considered as intelligent, only when there is some knowledge for based upon the particular category or a particular domain, they should have a knowledge. So that is what it is called as knowledge and intelligence are related. So according to this diagram, a decision maker first will have a sensing on the environment. He needs to know, see, simply we cannot decide anything. If we need to decide upon a certain category, or if we need to decide, a doctor need to decide that the particular patient is having, that the person is having cancer, simply he cannot tell like he's having cancer. But in the sense, he should first take the patient's history, that is sense what all the symptoms are available, how many months he has been suffering with this and everything, he has to take it. Then the doctor should have the basic knowledge about how, in what category they will be considered as a cancer, and the cancer is in the earlier stage or in the mild stage, or it is in the severe stage. So that means he should have some knowledge. Based on that, the action can be taken. Right? So the decision of the doctors depends upon the patient's symptoms, that is sensing, Then once the symptoms are being sensed, they should have some knowledge. The doctor should have some knowledge about the cancer, how but the cancer is in the which stage or whatever. Once based upon the knowledge, he can decide, and then based upon he can provide some actions if it is mild or low or high. Okay. So the next is the requirements of the knowledge representation. So representational adequacy. Representational adequacy means like the ability to represent all the kinds of knowledge that are needed for the domain. So AI system for medical diagnosis. AI system for medical diagnosis. For medical diagnosis, you need to know about the entire history of the particular patient. The system, it needs to know about the knowledge about the various symptoms and the patient histories, etc., etc. Then inferential adequacy. The inferential adequacy means the ability to manipulate the representation structures. So here the example is how the structures is getting manipulated from the original. So AI system designed to detect fraudulent activities in financial transactions. So here I can give you some examples like, they know the bank will have the patterns of each customer, like in when do they have some kind of password, they have some kind of security questions, etc., and they have some kind of patterns also. Maybe 1 or 2 days only but the concerned person will be logging into the internet login, or will be using the ATM card or whatever it is. So if there are some kind of deviations from it, like trying to open it often, very frequent, and suddenly there is an international transfer, amount of transfer, or some kind of abnormal behaviors. So that will be coming under the inferential adequacy. And inferential efficiency is the ability to incorporate into the knowledge structure. That is some additional information which is being given to the to identify the or to update the knowledge. And acquisition efficiencies to acquire the new information, getting some new information, right? See, a knowledge will have some previous experiences, then currently what he is doing, that knowledge also will be updated, and actually the future, whatever future new information also will be updated into the database. Now, next is how the representation issues are handled. So here you have to examine some specific techniques for representing and manipulating knowledge within the program. So there are some facts you can see. The facts are the main important things about the particular domain. How it is being represented, how each fact are being given as internal representations. So internal representations can be in the form of English representations. So English representations, you will be like, mainly it should be an understanding way of English. And actually, when you're representing it by internal representation, so fact in the sense, as I told you, it is sunny. So it is sunny means hot. So these are some standard English representations, right? So each patient, if you take about the patient's history, it should be in an understandable format. It should be of the fact, and it should be in a pure understandable format. So that kind of all understandable representations and internal representations will be stored in the is called as a knowledge representations, and it is stored as the knowledge base, represented as KB. And whenever the model needs to study about the part or study about the early experiences, it has to perceive first from the environment, and then it has to learn, and then it has to refer the knowledge base for other future representations. Okay. Thank you.